senior associate athletic director at Oklahoma State for external affairs, Jesse Martin. And Jesse, who has been on this show before, he's a lot of times he's on with Steve Daniels, and I kind of try not to steal, Steve's guests. And Steve's doing such a great job of keeping the community informed with his program in the morning. He's the MVP for us right now. Steve Daniels is with with the morning scramble. It's Stillwater's tie to everything they need to know during all this. But Jesse joins us now. Jesse, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on, Robert. You're spot on.
Well, you've been you
I'm usually on with Steve there at 7 a.m., so this is usually my nap time about now.
well, you have been requested.
Oh, I've been
Um,
requested.
you have been requested by the audience. And I'm not sure how many answers you can give them because right now we're all kind of searching for answers through this pandemic. But at least you can kind of let us know what's being discussed, what's being thought. We had Deputy Athletic Director Chad Weiberg on last Friday, which was the deadline for the season ticket renewal. You
hmm
can still renew your season tickets. That's just the deadline, and now they'll start selling seats that have not been renewed. Obviously, if somebody would like to purchase those. But here's something I heard yesterday from Larry Reese, and he said, "Yeah, you can throw that. Let Jesse talk about it because he'll be impressed." Or you're probably like the rest of the athletic department, impressed with the fans on this. And Larry told me that season ticket sales for football right now are just around 1% behind where they were at this same time a year ago. And when you consider the COVID-19 pandemic, the way that's uprooted people's lives, certainly the economy, to think that Oklahoma State football season tickets are around 1% different from what they were a year ago, that's amazing.
Yeah. When we got that news on the sales report, there's a lot of joy, a lot of excitement, and a lot of hope that goes on to that as well. So we are 1% behind what we were in 2019. And I think that just kind of shows that message that our Oklahoma State fans, they're committed to coming back when it's safe and when we get the green light to do that. And they're going to be there to cheer on their Cowboys. And I mean, nothing. Did we think it'd be that high? I don't think any of us knew what to expect, Robert. But we were very happy about that. We can't say thank you enough to our season ticket holders, to our donors that are committed to come out and watch the Cowboy football. And those numbers, we did push the deadline back just a little bit once this pandemic hit. It was originally earlier, but we did push it back, knowing all the different circumstances, and just wanted to give people options to go ahead and commit to us, and they sure did. They did, and it surprised us, and we're very happy about that.
Well, and again, I think as hopefully things continue to improve, hopefully we continue to get ahead of the curve, and we start thinking that I just got finished with a rant before you came on. I heard some national sports guys this morning talking about how, well, if everybody can't play, then we can't play football, and I personally am set against that. My feeling is the SEC is probably going to play come heck or high water, and if all the Big 12 states and everybody, all the schools have students on campus and are ready, I'm not of the mind to let somebody across the country slow us down from playing. I know college athletics is everybody's supposed to be together on things, but um, I mean, that's just my feeling. I'm not asking for an opinion on you, and probably shouldn't have put you in the position. But let's get back to it. Um,
Well, I think you do have a valid point there, though, Robert. That
right.
if you look nationally, that's where I've been in my eyes, right? I know professional sports and collegiate sports. There's a lot of similarities and a lot of difference. But seeing that schedule come out for the NFL last night gives you a lot of hope, right? Gives you a lot of hope. And you hear about Major League Baseball, and everybody will definitely keep their eyes on it. I think the one difference that you do see between professional sports and collegiate athletics is um, professional sports have really not speculated much, right? They've let their fans know, they've let the media know once they have a plan, here's what it is. in Division One athletics, it seems like there's a lot of different hypotheticals out there when we truly don't know what that true path is currently, right? So, but I do keep an eye on all those peer sports, and we can all learn from each other, and we always have, whether it's basic marketing or selling tickets or game day environments. You look at your peers and see what they're doing, and try to take what you can take from them, make your game day better, make your experience better, and so it's very repetitive. So you got to look to your peers on that.
All right, and that's very well put. Now, this is one of the things that fans have been asking about is tailgating. Um,
Hmm.
and I think we don't know right now what the stadium will look like if we do have football in the fall. I'm of the mind that we will, but we don't know for sure. And if we do, not sure how many, if any, spectators will be able to be in Boone Pickens Stadium. I hope it's at least a limited number. I'd like for the band to be there and some of the spirit groups, and that we have an atmosphere, even if it's an atmosphere for television. Pretty sure friends and family of the players would be allowed in, but we may have some major spacing. But when I've been talking to people, some people said, you know what, even if we can't go in the stadium, we'd love to go to the stadium and tailgate outside and watch it on our TVs at the tailgate and at least feel like we're near. What is the planning going in, and that you can tell me the discussions that you had so far with regards to tailgating and how that might go this year?
Well, I can tell you, I've been here at Oklahoma State for 15 years, and we all know what tailgating has grown into through those 15 years, and what a spectacle it is, what a great tradition it is here at Oklahoma State. And I've been on the forefront of it. I've been out there trying to help grow it, trying to help it go responsibly. And the one thing that I can tell you, while we don't know exactly what that will look like, that will all be dictated at a national, at a federal, at a state level, at a city level on what we can and can't do. But the one thing I do know, Robert, throughout the years with our tailgating, when we thoroughly communicate with our fans and ask them, "Hey, help us out with this," or can we change the times a little bit? Can we do this a little differently? Our fans are very responsive, very respectful, and whatever we ask them to do, they find a way to do it and be adaptive. Perfect example is there used to be, everybody thought when the first 11 a.m. game was played in Stillwater, there would be no tailgating, right? How am I going to tailgate from 8 a.m. until game time? Well, what does our fans do? There's a lot of tailgating going on after the game. So our fans are adaptive, and if we continue to let them know what we can and can't do, and that might be spacing, and we're very fortunate to have a very beautiful campus with a lot of accessible tailgating spots that we can expand a little bit. I know there's some areas that have been very dense, but there's room that we can break them up just a little bit. So once we get that direction on truly what we need to do, and not speculate on, hey, it might be this, might be that. Once we know exactly what we can do and can communicate that, thoroughly and directly to our fans, we'll definitely let everybody know. But we have been in the planning stages on a lot of different things, and we definitely keep our eye on our peers on what's taking place at all different levels, and we do not want to see that cherished tradition of tailgating here at Oklahoma State take a step backwards, but we will be here to help do it in a responsible manner in the same breath.
Yeah, and I find it amazing that fans, have told me, if we're not allowed in the stadium, we still would like to watch it in the parking lot and tailgate while it's going on. I'm like, that is. I mean, and it's reflected in your voice and your description there. That's the kind of dedication there is to tailgating at this
Yeah.
school.
It's unbelievable, and the people that haven't seen it or haven't been a part of it, the fans that are listening that maybe haven't been back to Stillwater in 10 years, 5 years, it's an unbelievable family reunion feeling atmosphere, and it gets. I'd put it up there with the best. Wouldn't you, Robert? You've seen it. I'd put it up there with the best tailgating in the nation.
I walk in through it every week because I'm here early. I mean, I'm usually in the stadium at least. We go on 2 hours before, and I'm usually here 4 hours before. And most of the tailgating, even on an 11 a.m. game, most of it is, if it's not fully operational, people have already gotten there and they're starting to set up. And then, of course, when I leave, there's still a lot of tailgating going on. I don't know if Coach Gundy still does it, but he and Kristen, his wife, used to go make the rounds and say hello to tailgaters after games. Um, I think lately, because I see him toward the end in our locker room show, he's so spent at that point. He looks like he needs to go home and lay down. Um, but no, and here's one of the things you talked about: the tailgaters being very responsive to the requests and to the things that the university asks. I remember several years back. It's been really quite a few years. We were having kind of a litter problem after tailgating,
Hmm.
and campus on Mondays was not looking its best, and I think the president over in Whitehurst wasn't real happy about it. And I know the word got out, hey, we need you to do a better job of cleaning up. And I would routinely see when I would leave, I'd see tailgaters cleaning up not only their spot, but if somebody didn't do a great job, they'd go to the next spot and clean it up. And I don't know about you, I haven't heard a peep about campus looking bad. I think our tailgaters became really responsible in that area.
Well, and that's what we all love about Oklahoma State, right? The people here. And the people here are blue collar, solid earth people. They care a lot about their university and they want to leave it better than what they found it, like a true cowboy. This last year, in the last 2 years, we've added a couple different elements to our tailgating scene. One of it was the introduction of tailgate guys, and we'll continue to have that, but
Yeah.
we'll also have our free option as well because we want to be very accommodating to everybody and whatever style you need to tailgate, whether you don't want to come up here and be a part of the selection process on a Thursday, you just can't make that work. There's an option where you can call and reserve that, and so we'll continue to have those. But the thing that I enjoyed most in the last 2 years that we introduced was a local guy here. His name's Joe Haney, and a lot of people in the community know Joe Haney. But we dubbed him as our tailgate ambassador. So him and a couple other golf carts would go around and have interaction with our tailgaters and answer any kind of questions. And you're out there tailgating, and maybe you won't see myself or Larry Reese out there, but you have a question about what do I need to pick up or what do I do? And he'd be out there and he'd be registering our tailgaters with a number over the last 2 years. And everybody's kind of worried, what is that about? Well, it really gives us an avenue to know who's tailgating out there. So we can directly communicate to the people that are tailgating. Never in a million years did I think I'd be communicating tailgating guidelines based on a pandemic, right? I always thought, hey, we're going to change the time or this game's later or we had a very wet fall and we can't tailgate in certain areas. I thought that's how that communication would go, but we're very fortunate to have a database of I'd say close to 85, 90% of people that are tailgating. We have a database of them, so those are the individuals that are committed to coming out and doing it week in and week out and throwing those big tailgates, and we can communicate to them and help them make their Saturday in Stillwater as stress-free, as easy as possible, so they can get together with their friends and family again. But that Tailgate Ambassador program has been an unbelievable piece for us in helping that grow responsibly as well.
It's been great having Jesse Martin, Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Affairs, on with us. I think he's hitting the spot that you guys were asking. Here's the All American Heather in the house at Game Time Cuts, but I think he's hitting on all the things you wanted hit on when you asked for us to get Jesse on. Last thing, and this is a favor to your buddy Larry Reese. I know Larry's going to come on with us next week. And the hope is that this discussion never really goes into play. But Larry has asked me to mention that if we do get to the point where we're either limited or we don't have spectators in the stadium, you know, um, it takes money to run an athletic department, especially one that's been as successful as Oklahoma State. And Larry said we're going to ask our fans if that happens, if they will, their ticket purchase for football can be moved into just a donation. I've already told Larry, and I've got season tickets. A lot of times I give them away anyway, and I said that's not going to be a problem for me. I don't want a refund, and I know some people will need that. I understand it, but address that a little bit, because if we do get into a bind, um, that'll really be a kind thing fans can do to help keep our athletic department strong.
Yeah, you're spot on. Season tickets sales for football is the lifeblood of OSU athletics, and it's not just funding the football department. It's helping John Smith win national championships, helping the golf team. It's open. Good buddy of mine, Coach Gayaski, in the softball program, and go down each one of those sports. It helps with their operating budget and helps those kids live that dream of competing at the Division One level and representing our fan base with Oklahoma State. So hopefully we don't have to go through that scenario, Robert. But in that case, we'll have a lot of different options and be very accommodating to all of our fans, whether they want to roll money over to the following year, whether they want to make a donation. We can do some of that as well, or if they need a refund, we'll be accommodating. We'll treat. I can guarantee the one thing that we will do is we'll treat each one of our fans the way that I would like to be treated in that scenario, the way that Coach Holder would like to be treated in that scenario. Anyone in our athletic department, however you'd want to be treated, that's how we will treat our fans.
Hey, last thing. This is just a comment. Because I'm glad when during that last question and discussion you brought it up. Every athletic administrator has sports they oversee. For example, Kevin Feit, who's senior associate athletic director for compliance, has baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you just mentioned it. You have softball, and I doing some of the ESPN Plus games this year for softball. I know Kenny Gajewski, my daughter-in-law. Now Allen, used to be Sam Heinlein, was a scholarship softball player at Oklahoma State. What Kenny has done with that program is absolutely unbelievable. When we lost spring sports, I was extremely sad for Chris Young because I knew he was bringing the NCAA championships here this year, and it would have been a great event. But I was very sad as well for Kenny Gajewski, and I'm glad what he's got coming back next year, including some added transfers, because he has got a team, and you know this better than anybody, Jesse. It's your sport that you oversee. Kenny's got a team that can win a national championship. It's really impressive.
Well, it's funny you say that. This morning when I was grabbing my socks, I look up there and there's our World Series ring from last year, right? So you get a ring for going to the World Series, and just kind of you start thinking your date, man, would have been in the first weekend of regionals coming up, and what if and everything if it would have went right, what could have this season be? But to get that news that these seniors can come back and get the commitment, knowing that we have some top seniors that didn't get to finish their season, they're going to get the super seniors this upcoming year. And if you just look, and Coach doesn't like me to do this, but I like to look forward quite a bit, Robert. And he doesn't like, how coaches are. They don't like that, but I can't help but be super excited, and I know he's excited as well because the talent that we had this year and how we were starting to peak at the right time and getting players to across the board just compete at a very high level. A lot of that's from the talent that we play as well. So we go out and play anybody, anywhere, any place, and that pays off for those young kids and those transfers, being some real life situations that, oh, by the way, we want to replicate those come June and be in those tough situations. So a lot of optimism with that. I'm very excited for this upcoming year. I'm very excited across the board for OSU athletics this upcoming year. If you start looking across the excitement we have from football to golf to wrestling to men's basketball, women's basketball has some new transfers, softball, baseball, equestrian's up there, tennis, man, I'm going to leave it out. But it's just, if you look at it, it could be one of those all-time great years in OSU athletics history coming up. So I hope everything gets opened back up fully and our fans can come out and be a part of it, because there's nothing better than hosting an event at a high level, a big-time event, a postseason event, and seeing that sea of orange roll out. No different than what we had at Carson Creek. And it's just a shame that we didn't get to do that for Chris Young and his team here. But our plans are here in November to be able to roll that out for the cross country team when we host that NCAA cross country championship right here in Stillwater. So very excited about this upcoming year across the board. But I am a little partial to softball as well, Robert, as you said.
No, and getting a chance to do those games, yeah, I had a blast with those, and I hope to get to do some more of that because that softball team is flat out fun to watch. In fact, I don't watch a lot of games over that have already been played, but when they beat Alabama on ESPNU and they replayed that the other night, I sat in there and watched every bit of it and enjoyed it. So Kenny's done a great job. We got to let you go. I know you got a meeting, but I appreciate you helping our folks out. They want to know what's going on with tailgating. We'll keep in touch. and
Yeah,
hopefully
as we get to
everything.
know more, Robert, I'll come back on
Yeah,
with you. We'll definitely, as we
that's
get that
great.
information and know what's there, I'll definitely get on and be more than happy to get on there and inform the fans. So I appreciate your
Uh,
time.
I thank you. Appreciate it. Again, Jesse Martin, Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Affairs.